Well, hello everybody and welcome to Chef Shelley's Kitchen. So I've given you a variety of vegetarian dishes. We talked about making whole wheat blueberry pancakes. Last week we talked about freezing, and I'm going to make a dish for you today that's ideal for freezing leftovers. And this is one of those dishes that when you let it sit overnight, it actually tastes better the next day. So what we're going to make today is crock-pot chili. And I'm going to use turkey, ground turkey, because I don't actually eat red meat. But if you want to use ground beef, you can use ground beef. And if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, Morningstar actually has a package of what's called crumblers. There's some black bean crumblers, there are what's called grilling crumblers, and you can use them just as I'm doing with the ground turkey. So I'm going to start off, and this is going to be a basic thing that you're going to see me do often when I'm cooking meats. And I usually use olive oil, and you can see I have a really big container of it because I use a lot of it. So I'm just putting enough olive oil in the bottom here. And then another stapler you're going to see is garlic. Garlic has so many amazing health benefits, and I almost use it with anything that I'm going to saute, any Italian dish. I'm going to have some garlic. So I'm going to go on and put the garlic in there, and I've kept the heat on so it would be nice and ready for us. What I'm going to add next, I've actually cut up a half of the onion, so we're going to put that in there. And then I've also cut up a half of a red bell pepper. So let me tell you, why did I use a red bell pepper? You can actually use any green bell pepper, they're less expensive. But I like to use red bell pepper because red bell pepper has an abundance of vitamin C, more so than a green bell pepper. It also has a great degree of beta-carotene, and that's good because it has antioxidants and also anti-inflammatory properties. So what I like to do with this chili is I always start this way, and I'm just kind of sauteing it. I'm not going to make them too soft, just sauteing it just nicely because it's going to be in the crock pot. So we're going to leave it in there for actually a few hours. And this is something, you know, a lot of times on a Saturday when I start my day, I might make it so that it cooks all day, and I might just have it for dinner on Sunday. But as I shared with you all last week, there are some things that you can freeze. This is one of those things that I would put in freezer bags, enough for my husband and I, and then so easy to be able to just pull it out, and it's good to go. So hope you can see that. It's just barely kind of cooked there, and I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit more. Now I'm going to actually add my ground turkey onto that. Now, one of the things I hear people say sometimes is that I'll hear some people say, well, my spouse, you know, doesn't like ground turkey, or if they knew it was ground turkey, you know, they wouldn't like it. I'm going to show you a way that really kind of transforms some of the properties with ground turkey. A lot of people don't like it because it's a little more clumpy than ground beef, but I'm going to show you, this is my secret weapon for how you can get ground turkey to have a similar type of consistency as ground beef. And trust me, if your spouse was over, they would not know if they were eating ground turkey or ground beef. So as you can see, I'm just really kind of chopping it up right now. I want it to get done fairly well. So I'm going to actually turn my heat up. So my heat is on medium now, so I'm going to just turn it up just a little bit more. And again, it's kind of sauteing in the onions and the bell pepper that I have going on there. One other little thing that I am going to add, we grew some garden salsa peppers. So I've got 2 of those in here. I'm just going to add that to it as well. as it continues to cook. And then I add just a little bit of salt, not much, because I'm going to be adding a chili mixture by McCormick that's really takes care of all your seasoning. But when I'm cooking the turkey, I usually add a little pepper, a little salt. And then I also add, Mrs. Dash has an extra spicy, salt-free, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So it gives that extra little kick, actually. So it's got some cayenne pepper in there. I have a really good friend who's allergic to cayenne pepper, so I don't put that in there when I serve you that those dishes, so no worries. But anyway, you're going to just continue to kind of turn it as it gets done. Continues to cook. I'm just going to turn the heat up just a little bit more so we can move this along. And when the ground turkey gets almost done, then, and this is getting closer and closer and closer, not quite there yet. We're going to, again, you're going to do this regardless of if you have a vegan or vegetarian crumblers from Morningstar or whatever kind you like to use, and or ground beef. So again, we're just cooking it away here. Let's see, it looks like I've got a little bit on the stove, so we don't want to burn anything, that's for sure. Okay, so this is almost ready, and now I'm going to pull out my secret weapon that I use to change the texture. And that secret weapon is a potato smasher. This really breaks up the ground turkey so that, again, the pieces are more like ground beef. So you're just going to mash it. You just keep mashing, mashing, mashing. It makes, and I do this when I make spaghetti and meat sauce. Again, I'm using ground turkey. Again, that's just healthier for you than the beef. And just mash it away. And again, it changes the texture. Because I know, I hear people saying, you know, well, I know it's like, it's not the same. It's too thick. Well, this is how you just change the texture. Okay? So this is actually just about done in that quick amount of time that I had to cook it. And what we're going to do, obviously, we're not going to be here for the whole crock-pot episode, but I'm going to show you what needs to go in the crock-pot. Now, that's really chopped up pretty nicely. If you don't have a potato masher, make sure you go get one. It's fairly inexpensive and valuable. So I'm just going to saute this around just a little bit more. What I'm wanting to do is make sure the liquids on the bottom have pretty much dried up. Okay, so you can imagine this smells absolutely delicious. And my husband loves it. He loves chili. What I normally serve this with is we'll use a brown rice or a basmati rice or jasmine rice, put that on the bottom, then put the chili on top and sprinkle it with some shredded cheese. Totally, totally delicious. All right, this here is now, I'm gonna say, just about ready. And I'm gonna actually try to tilt it over a little bit so you can see the beauty of this dish. Again, it's got an assortment of colors, as you can kind of see there. And that's just absolutely wonderful. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to move everything to the crock pot. So I'm going to take this and pour it into my crock pot, like so. So obviously it's not going to have to cook as long because the main ingredient is actually already cooked. So we put that whole thing in there. We put that there. And then I'm also going to add 2 kinds of beans. It's up to you. Today I'm going to use the dark red kidney beans. Sometimes I use the black beans. And then you're just going to put that in there. And I'm going to just move this up because this is still warm. We don't want anything catching on fire. And today I'm going to use some cannellini beans. But again, any 2 beans that you want, I put that in there. Then I use 1 can of tomato sauce, just whatever your preference is. Quite frankly, I like some of the generic brands. Here's an interesting thing, and you're going to vary this based upon how hot you like things. So I use Rotel. I use 1 original and 1 hot. It gives a nice mixture. If you don't like things too spicy, there's also a mild version. But I use 1 can of each. Put that in there, like so. And then I actually even use 1 can of tomato paste. So we're going to put the tomato paste in there as well. And let me just tell you, this is absolutely fantastic when it's all said and done. Get that out, okay? And then the last thing I'm going to add, and then I'm going to stir it up, is I like using, McCormick has this chili original, and they have some that this particular one has no MSG, no artificial flavors, just has all the right seasonings in my opinion. So I just add that to the this packet to the ingredients, like so. And guess what? We're actually done. So you're going to want to mix this up very nicely. Make sure you've got the ground turkey or ground beef or crumblers or whatever it is that you've decided to use. You mix it up really well. Very nice. You want to make sure the sauce is all throughout. I usually cook my crock pot on high, and then I'll turn it to low when I'm just like towards the end, I'm just wanting it to simmer. But as I said, sometimes I might just, or even if I get up early one morning and I want to make it, then I'll cook this, put it in the crock pot, and then it's ready to go. So you just mix it as so, and it's a little bit hot here. And now you just put the top on it, and you are good to go. You've got chili in a crock pot. Very easy, absolutely delicious, healthy, and I've talked about some alternative ways in which you can prepare it if you're a vegan, a vegetarian. If you're a carnivore and you eat the red meat, wonderful. Or if you like me, you like ground turkey. So thanks for joining in today, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.